All right, guys, before we get started, I wanted to make sure that you guys see the links to the QR codes to my Odyssey, Minds, and Twitters. Please follow if you can. Please leave a like. Please let me know what you think. Share around, leave a comment, smash that like button, smash that bell. All right, let's get started. Over the past couple of days, there's been a story going around about how Cuomo used his power and pretty much got bribed to kill thousands of old people for profit. The thing I wanted to kind of, examine on is this is nothing new. This story is not new. I knew about this like probably last year in May. May or April, I knew about this. I already knew about this story. This is nothing new. The thing I wanted to kind of exemplify is this really helps me prove a point that really needs to be made about how dangerous the media truly is to this country and to the world in general. This story was written last year, May 2020. It was already out that Cuomo was doing this to kill old people. It was already out there that he was out there killing people in nursing homes. This is nothing new. The media decided it's important now, I guess since Cuomo got all his money, that now we can bring out this story. Now it's valuable. Now we care. That's what matters. Cuomo gave immunity to nursing home executives after big campaign donation. Yes, old ass news. They choose to make it news now. It's a big scandal now when this happened in May. How many lives could have been saved if you called it out back then? I'll get to the article. Before the pandemic, he pushed through Medicaid cuts which shut down necessary hospital space in the name of efficiency, despite the warnings of medical professionals. And on the 3rd of April, as 3,000 New Yorkers already lay dead from the virus in hospitals like Elmhurst and Queens were overwhelmed with cases, Cuomo forced through further Medicaid cuts, slashing $400 million from hospital budgets. The governor has failed to take responsibility for the obvious failures, constantly blaming others, and at one point even saying governors don't do pandemics. Actually, some governors just don't read their state's pandemic plans. But much of the press has ignored this, focusing instead on Cuomo's aesthetic presentations, his poise during his press conferences, his dramatic statements about taking responsibility, even when he obviously hasn't and has invisible good looks. That's all they would focus on. How good he was, how good he sounded. They wanted to make this about how he's so much better than Trump. And I often said during the pandemic, people always said Trump would kill 3,000 people, 300,000 people, 400,000 people. I would say, like, no, Trump did not kill 300,000 people. Our government as a whole killed 300,000 people, not 400,000 people. They were all incompetent like this, but they wanted to make it so Trump bad, Cuomo good, Trump bad, Biden good. They hit this for so long just because they wanted to, because they liked Cuomo, they liked the corruption. This is a pattern. How many people could they have saved if at the time they were saying Cuomo's doing this to his people, Cuomo's doing this to nursing homes?
Thank you for coming.
This is what they were doing while people were dying in nursing homes.
Back to the show. Mom told me I had to. Governor Andrew Cuomo, I appreciate you coming on the show. I love you. I'm proud of what you're doing. I know you're working hard for your state, but no matter how hard you're working, there's always time to call Mom. She wants to hear from you. Just so you know.
Yeah, I called Mom just before I came on the show. By the way, she said I was her favorite.
She never said that.
Good news is she said you were her second favorite. Second favorite.
He was on there multiple times, just laughing up with his brother, while a bunch of old people died and got buried on. They had to make new graves. While they were making new graves to bury people in nursing homes, he was up there yucking it with his brother. And this is just how every single interview was like, kissing his ass nonstop. They gave him an Emmy, or they nominated him for an Emmy. Emmys are practically worthless, pretty much. All these awards practically worthless. This is how the media kind of grovels and elevates their own, even though they suck, even though they're terrible. We were devoid. This is another thing I'm getting to right now. I said before that was on the funding. That was on Cuomo. That was on the disabilities of Cuomo. How the media propped up Cuomo. This is, and I said before, this whole entire thing is about how dysfunctional, how bad the media is, to the point where they will kill millions. They are responsible for these deaths. They will kill millions. They're responsible for the nursing homes. They're responsible for every stupid war we're in. They will kill millions. And then afterwards, when it's already goddamn too late, oh, we made a mistake. Or even when they get caught, still just bury it and continue on. This is the Afghan war. This is the Afghan papers where they revealed we have no idea what we're doing in Afghanistan. We were devoid of fundamental understanding of Afghanistan. We didn't know what we were doing. Douglas Lutz, a 3-star Army general who served at the White House Afghan czar during the Bush and Obama administration, told interviewers in 2015. He added, "What are we trying to do? We didn't have the foggiest notion of what we were undertaking. The foggiest notion of what we were undertaking. We have no idea. That's 2015. This war is at least around 12 years old. And they still have no idea what they're doing. If the American people knew the magnitude of dysfunction, 2,400 lives lost." Lutz added, blaming the deaths of the U.S. personnel on bureaucratic breakdowns among Congress, the Pentagon, and the State Department. Who will say this was in vain? Waste of time. 2,000 lives and more lost. 2,400 lives lost. For what? For nothing. We don't even know what we're doing in there. It's been 12 years. As if we're going to find out on the 21st year? Since 2001, 775,000 U.S. troops have deployed to Afghanistan repeatedly. Of those, 2,300 have died. There are 20,589 were wounded in action. According to the Defense Department figures, still waste of time. We still have no idea what's going on. Those are the deaths, those are the wounded. The interviews, though, an intensive array of voices bring into a sharp relief the core failing of the war that persists to this day, that underscores how 3 presidents, George W. Bush, President Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and let's also add Joe Biden because he was VP, so he knew this too. He knew this too. Make that 4 now. Because he still knows this today. It still knows it's a waste of time today. Those 3, and Joe Biden, and the military commanders have been unable to deliver on their promises to prevail in Afghanistan. This is Nicole Wallace. Another example. Here's another example of the huge failures of our media. This is Nicole Wallace. She was also a huge part of that lying campaign to go to war for no goddamn reason. And this is what I'm talking about, where the media rewards psychopathic criminal liars. This is Abu Ghraib, and you'll see in a minute why that is so important.
I can tell them we waterboarded 3 people. Last one was waterboarded in 2003. 3 people.
Yep.
And there is a debate on whether that is actionable intelligence or not.
When they decapitate people with a knife?
We have to start comparing ourselves to ISIS.
You just said we're a beacon, a moral beacon. So, in the history of this country, I think months after 9/11, there were 3 people who we thought knew about imminent attacks, and we did whatever we had to do. And I pray to God that till the end of time, We do whatever we have to do to find out what's happening. And the notion that this somehow makes America less great is asinine and dangerous. And I swear to God, I have never felt more frustrated with this White House's inability to speak clearly than I was yesterday when John Carl was pushing Josh Earnest to say whether Obama found the information gleaned helpful in killing bin Laden. But you watch that exchange with John Carl and Earnest, and that's what this is about. Does it help us kill people who want to kill us, regardless of what we do? But the notion that what we do affects the behavior of terrorists is a lie. It's a lie perpetrated by political correctness and by liberals, and it's dangerous.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's how I feel. You don't have to win me over, and I don't have to win you over, but that's how I feel. And I respect the way you feel.
But here's the problem. The problem is not did we waterboard 3 people. The problem is what about the black prisons in Poland, which the EU is really upset about.
What else did Poland? I think you should wait till the report comes out.
What about supporting right-wing groups that killed hundreds of thousands?
What else did we do to make sure that 3,000 people weren't blown out of the obliterated on a New York City morning? What else did we do? I don't care what
Nicole,
we did.
people in Guatemala were not a threat to the United States. We killed 200,000 of them by supporting General Montt. This is a pattern in the United States that we have to have an open debate about what we're doing in this country.
It's not a pattern. It's a belief about whether what we do is from a place of morality and of protecting innocent lives.
And my point is, it isn't always, and let's find out if this is or not.
But you just said you already know everything. It isn't about finding out. I think all the reasons that liberals give are lies, and I think that this is about doing whatever it takes. I think this will divide the country in the next presidential election, and I think Republicans are on the right track.
Doesn't matter what we do. We're American. Doesn't make us any less great. We're American. Those are the idiots they have on mainstream media. Those are the people that propagandize these stupid, racist, bigoted hate constantly spewing it in the mouths of people. I'm not saying to censor them or anything like that. I'm saying I'm listing these things for a reason, and I'll get to them too. At the end of this, I'll get to this too. Why it's so important that we tackle these people, even over the politicians themselves. We tackle these people. These are the ones specifically holding us back. Everything else is a factor too. This is the biggest factor. It's okay to torture. We're Americans. That's pretty much what she was saying. And I'll show again. I brought up Abu Ghraib. I'll show again what she said was okay.
أول ما يدخل الشخص يربطون على باب الحديد مشبك، باب الزنزانة، و يعني يستخدمون وياه عملية الصعق بالكهرباء والتبول عليه. وعملية الصعق بالكهرباء أيضا ما أنساها اللي مريت بيها، لأنه كنت أحس كأنما شرار يطلع من عيوني. هاي عصا المكنسة مكسورة، والكسور يعني من تنكسر عصا المكنسة ادخالها في مكان يعني حساس بالجسم يسبب احيانا نزيف وتداخل جراحي
What he's going to get to, and I don't know if I don't want to get it adult rated, so I'm going to say it myself. Another form of torture that they did, I'm pretty sure you'll get the gist of this. They made the dad watch. I'm not going to go too much into detail other than that. They made the dad watch. They made the dad watch his son, and I don't know if you can guess what they did. They made the dad watch his son. Go watch the rest of the stuff. The video's online. That's the thing she was saying is okay. It's okay because we're Americans. That's the type of crap that happens because we're Americans. That's the thing she was okay with. That's the thing she was okay with. I'm also going to bring up another thing. The next thing coming up right now is still relating to Nicole Wallace. She's in this a little bit. Still relating to Nicole Wallace. This is Anwar Awalake. He was a terrorist, and this is his son, Aburam Awalake. As you can see, clear as facts, he died before his son. There were 2 drone strikes. There was 2 drone strikes. His father and his own son. That was a big scandal because he's 16 years old. He's not a threat to anybody. We took him out anyway. His dad was already dead. There was no excuse for this. But even though this was a massive scandal, huge scandal, Nicole Wallace, psychopath, now promoted. She wasn't even working at NBC right now. She was just pretty much a correspondent. She just came in and out after being, the secretary for Bush, one of the worst presidents in my lifetime, one of the worst presidents in general. After that was her before. Torture's fine. We're American. After that, even though she's incredibly insane, a crazy, bigoted, hateful person. And it is bigoted to just be like, we're American and we can do what we want. This is her casually alluding to us droning civilians, American civilians, like we did Awalake.
And again, it's not us saying so, John Hyman. That is a bulletin released to all law enforcement earlier this week that there is, until the end of April, a persistent threat of domestic extremism, domestic terrorism carried out in the ideology and around this belief that the election was fraudulent, that the COVID restrictions are unnecessary. All of those ideologies pushed by Donald Trump. But my question for you is around incitement. We had a policy, and it was very controversial. It was carried out under the Bush years and under the Obama years, of attacking terrorism at its root, of going after and killing, and in the case of Anwar al-Awlaki, an American, a Yemeni American, with a drone strike for the crime of inciting violence, inciting terrorism. Mitch McConnell was in the Senate then. He was in the Senate after 9/11 too. How does Mitch McConnell, who understands that the way you root out terrorism is to take on, in the case of Islamic terrorism, kill those who incite it, how does he not vote to convict someone that he said on the floor of the Senate incited an insurrection?
That correlation is insane. There's a bunch of stories, big stories. Obama killed 90% civilians. That was a big story, just overlaid. We don't talk about it, just overlaid. Cluster bombs. We sold cluster bombs to Saudi Arabia. Again, cluster bombs have a high death rate. They also kill 90% civilians. They have a high civilian death rate because they have a high death rate, meaning they could be there for years and years and years. Some kid just walks along and all of a sudden he explodes. And she's alluding to this psychopath who has a promotion after she said her last crazy thing, and this is in her head. This is all they do. They're all like this. This is what they love. This is what MSNBC, CNN, Fox News loves. These raving racist psychopaths, as they pretend to care for you. They don't. They don't at all. This is, and they kept going to, in the Awalake family, this is Awalake's sister, Anwar al-Awlaki's daughter. Already dead. In 2011. It's been 6 years. We came back again. At to finish the job. No, that family cannot have a line. Wipe it all out. There was no need for this. No need for Awalake. We don't need to be messing around like this. We empower this. We're the terrorists. We are. But that's not what the media wants you to see. They want you to see what Nicole Wallace was saying, that we're justified no matter what. We can torture no matter what. We have to handle terror with drone strikes that hit 90% civilians. 90% civilians. There's no way ISIS or Al-Qaeda has been able to beat the U.S.'s record of killing civilians if that's it. 90% civilians. At a time, 90% civilian. At multiple times, guarantee it. Moving on to another psychopath, Chef Smith, who quit Fox News because he was so appalled by how their treatment was of Donald Trump and everything and such. And in all honesty, Fox News is just upfront about how much they suck. They know what they are. They're the conservative network. They're all the conservative network, but Fox News is the upfront conservative network. Chef is quit apparently because he was appalled by how they were covering Trump, and he, like I said, he's just a piece of crap himself. He's just a piece of crap himself. There's nothing really different so much, and you'll see why I'm saying that in a minute.
Fed and not clothed while Saddam Hussein gets richer will tell you that the only way for peace was to get rid of Saddam Hussein. And the President of the United States has promised that this particular campaign will do that. Then you return the oil wells and give them their money back, get them fed and help them rebuild. Then maybe, Brit Hume, you have an outpost in the middle of the Persian Gulf and a way to spread some of the love. Who knows? It's certainly a good thought, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is.
Spread some of the love. Destroy a place. Iraq has been a disaster for years. For years. It has just gotten worse. Terrorists roaming like crazy. It has just gotten worse. And we're still there. We're still there. And this is one of the jackasses who lied us into that stupid war. And he admits it himself. I just want to be, I want to be there and spread an outpost. I want to colonialize this country. I want to destroy this country. Maybe we can jack some resources and spread the love. All right, guys, I'm going to cut this part off right now into 2 parts. Please let me know what you think. Smash that like button. Share in the comment sections what you think. Thank you for your time. You guys have a good one.